Hey, web design teacher friends. I just wanted to update you on the status of my redesigned web design curriculum that I used this past fall. So I've got this set up in Canvas, which is what we use as our LMS at my school. So we've got some readings, we've got our activities, my Bell Ringers booklet and Coding the Web book. I've got the Bell Ringers booklet, which kind of goes along with the lessons. And then you can download starting files that you use to code those. So like this is an example, finished one of some of those. Some of them require you to download a starting file, and those have the starting files listed here. So I used Thimble in the fall, and it worked pretty good, and my students were able to use it on Chromebooks, so that was cool. And then this spring, one of my Web Design 2 kids got in there and was like, oh, hey, Thimble's discontinuing in December. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. Now that I have all these files on here, we're going to discontinue. So had to do something else. It has an export to glitch button, which is sadly glitchy, and I couldn't get it to work. So I had to go into Glitch and recreate all of those files, copying and pasting and so forth, which wasn't a huge big deal, but anyway, so the first 6 lessons I have on Glitch, so students would be able to go in and then they can open that project and then click the remix button, and that would then allow them to create their own version of this project. So it would put it in their own little window, and then it puts all the files in there, it'll list them on the side, and then there's the words. And so now they can do whatever. And then they'd have to rename it because it always gives it these weird like character names, but you just click on it and then they can type in whatever they want to call it. I'm going to call this delete me because I don't need to keep it. Oops, delete me 234. Okay. So anyway, but you can do that and then that saves it, and then they would have their own copy of the file. And then they can code it, which saves my kids a lot of time because they don't have to copy and paste code. But the problem is that as I got into this Glitch program that they gave us, there's not a good way to deal with graphics. So like, for instance, if we look here on this example page, if I'm going to edit my own project, you just click edit. When you get in here, there's no way to make folders in here yet. Like, you can't make a file folder. And there is an assets folder, but if you put a picture in the assets folder, it creates a hyperlink, or rather like a CDN version of the image. So once we get to lesson 7, which is on images, and this is my booklet I've got this time, but once you get to lesson 7 on images, then there's going to be a problem because we couldn't do the images the way we could do them in Thimble, because Thimble allowed us to have a folder. So I found a website called REPL. I don't know how you're supposed to say it, but it does allow us to have folders. So these are not in a folder, but you can create folders in here. And so I can click add folder, make a pics folder, and I could put this pattern in the pics folder, and then I can point to the pattern like so, and then run my results, and then I'm going to have my page with my pattern on the back of it. So this made me very happy. So then I created the rest of these exercises, 7 and up, in REPL. And so instead of remixing them in REPL, students would open up this one, and then there's a button up here called fork, and they would fork it, which would then create a copy in their folder. Why do I like these programs? Well, REPL particularly is going to be my go-to this year, but the students can see an example of it, and then they can hit this button here to open it in a new tab, and then they could actually turn this in to you, and you would be able then to grade their project. So I'll just pop it into a different browser that I'm not logged into so you can see what it looks like. And so here is a non-logged in, just that's the version of it that's in there. So you can see that this is a great alternative to having to save to their shared drives or whatever. So I've got this all set up so far in Canvas. Again, a link to the book and the Bell Ringer packet, some articles, some Chrome extensions that we use, and that's actually from my school, but I reference a few. And then the Glitch starting files, all the Replit starting files, the Mickey files, which go along with the book. I've created Quizlets for the units that go along with those. So you can click on that to get to my whole folder of the Coding the Web Quizlets that are in there. In addition, I have my teacher recap videos because, inevitably somebody's going to be absent whenever you teach these things. So I have a playlist here that has video recaps of the various lessons. And you'll also notice that there is a HTML man that we make in the class. And so I have a video on how we made that in case you want to see that for yourself or for your students. But anyway, so that's all in there and included. Now, of course, in Canvas, I also have some quizzes that I give as well. So those wouldn't be just readily available because they're not like set up in Google or anything like that. We only do 2 really big projects after about the first 5 lessons. The personality project, that's before they know how to use images. And then we do the big restaurant project later on in the class. My class is only a semester, so it's really about all we have time for. There is one final project that they do that's basically I give it to them and it's timed and they have to try to recreate it within the time. But you'll see I have links to lots of the websites that we use, all the graphics things that we have, and I do have some video demonstrations of how to use some of these graphics things as well on the YouTube playlist. So anyway, I'm going to be coming out with a blog post soon sharing all of this, but if you use Canvas, I can probably just share this straight away with you in that way once I get it set up later on this summer. So let me know if you're using the curriculum, my old curriculum, and if you're interested in this new one. Thanks.